Welcome back to the podcast. My name is Joseph Clough, and this is episode 791. Now, in this episode, I want to talk to you about what you might want to think about applying and getting into your life if you experience anxiety, confidence issues, worries, doubts, all those kind of things. This is going to be something that I think is very, very important, because the problem with feeling anxiety, the problem of feeling like an imposter, or feeling not worthy, deserving, or enough, the dread, all of those things, it causes you to feel alone. Like no one can really relate to how you feel. That sabotage, because we sometimes put on a mask, right? We try to help people. We don't want to create resistance or conflict, so we play small. We don't want to ruffle the boat. That doesn't even make sense. Ruffle the feathers or move the boat, rock the boat. There we go. It's being broadcasted live on YouTube/Joseph Clough, just so you know, because it is live. So we feel alone most of the time because we are experiencing a heavy weight on our shoulders when we cannot sleep, or if we wake up in the morning and we feel a level of dread just thinking about the day ahead. It's going to cause us to go, I don't like this. I feel alone. I feel lost, and I don't know what to do about it. So that's what we're going to be discovering today. What kind of helpful hints and tips that could cause us to break free of those eventually. Doesn't mean it's going to happen just like that, because you will need other elements. But of course, we go over lots of different elements on the podcast. I want to focus on a particular element in this episode. Now, before we go ahead and do that, let's just take a quick ad break, and that just means you are supporting the show and allowing us to do more, be more, have more, and help more people. Are you ready to transform your life in the most amazing way? If so, go ahead and download my free hypnosis app, where you can listen to hundreds of free coaching and hypnosis audios at your convenience on your phone. Create your own hypnosis sessions. That's right, all custom and tailored to your needs. Listen to hundreds of hypnosis sessions. Truly transformational, where you can transform in the day, and also, of course, you can transform as you go to sleep by toggling over the sunshine to the moon, and it will guide you off to sleep effortlessly. And of course, please go ahead and share the love and rate and review the app, because it just means we can help and support more people in the world, and we need it so much right now. You make the difference by leaving a review. Just go to your app store, type in Hypnosis with Joseph Clough, and leave your review. I appreciate you, and thank you for listening to this message. So, with that, let's get into it, because as I was saying just briefly before that, we feel lost and alone if we experience anxieties, worries, and doubts, and fears, and all those kind of things, right? So, how can we immediately start to interrupt that pattern? Well, in my opinion, and this is what I learned about myself, but also about business, like on my journey to being in a business and creating abundance and help in the world, was I had to surround myself with people who can support, nurture, and lift me up, right? I wanted to be connected with people where I could learn and grow, because in business, I felt alone, right? You're a business person, or an entrepreneur, and therefore you're at the top. Or even if you're like a CEO, you're at the top, and therefore people are relying on you, but you don't really have an opportunity to be able to rely on other people. It's like your responsibility. So I learned along the way, as an example, if I wanted to level up my ability to make an impact in the world, I had to surround myself with people who knew that, who were different from me, who could challenge me, but also I could look back and see myself in them, right? Because I now feel connected. They are different, but they are uniquely connected on a business level. Now, Why is that important when it comes to this topic of anxiety, fear, worry, and self-doubt? Well, because you feel alone, right? If you can be plugged into a community or a network, and we'll go over different examples which you can start to apply very, very soon. But if you can be plugged in a community, no matter what level, whether you pay to play or whether it's just free, it's going to cause you to feel not alone on that journey, which is a huge breakthrough because mainly we do feel alone. And let's think about it on a society level. If we go way back in time, we were in communities, in villages. We weren't just doing it by ourselves. Maybe a bit earlier before that, but then we formulated communities and connections and families and things like that. And it made you feel safe, secure. Like if you could just imagine going way back in time where the world was a crazier place where there could have been dangerous animals, or we're looking for shelter, we're looking for nutrition and food and things like that. If you did that just alone, the world would be a very scary and dangerous place. Now suddenly, if you could imagine that you had the same needs of shelter, security, food, and really human connection on top of that, and you suddenly had a village around you, or an extended family, friends, a support network, to be able to support in hunting or gathering, or whether it be building, or if it was people not feeling well, there was someone there to be able to help you, right? Or your family member. It made us feel connected. So biologically, we seek connection. We seek it, we desire it, and we can say other examples of relationships, right? That's why we want to be in a relationship sometimes. Not always, we don't always have to or want to or need to, but sometimes it's nice to have a shared connection with someone, to have experiences, to have a level of lifting up where you do it the same. So really, this is biology, right? Now, if we now apply it to the anxiety and the fear, which is one of the loneliest experiences to have because we don't feel connection. We don't, and here's the big three aspects to it. We don't feel seen, heard, or felt because we're doing it independently. And the problem with not being seen, heard, or felt, it means you are at a loss. Like you don't know where to go. You don't know how to find that help. You don't know how to find the expertise to be able to take you from that dark place of not feeling worthy, deserving enough, to then not know how to get out of it because you don't know what you don't know. And you do know what it feels like to feel broken. You're not broken, but to feel that way or to feel that sense of disconnection. So suddenly, if you take the examples of me, we're going into business and learning about business so I can support and help more people, or whether it be going all the way back in time when we used to be in a village or connection. And think about that actually. We are more connected today, but we're even more isolated than ever because the technology of the digital world means we don't have to hang around with other people. And we know when that big event happened in last year, 2 years ago, whatever long it lasted and how long ago it was, you know that big event. It caused us to feel more isolated and more lost alone. In fact, when it came to the development schedule of children, that was huge. It was a huge level of disconnection, of not being able to learn by being surrounded with other children or with a teacher, right? It's a very big element, human connection. If we're just doing it all digitally, we don't always have that connection. Or if we do it en masse, it's very, very hard. But when you can start to connect with someone who understands who you are, who resonates where you are and supports you and will hold you accountable, because that's a big one, right? You want to be more dedicated to changing rather than staying the same. So therefore, you want to have someone to kind of point out some aspects. Say, hey, look, you're not really doing the work here. You're not really applying what needs to apply. Or if you do something good and great, let's just say you're surrounded in a community who supports and loves you, who wants to celebrate with you, and then in a weird, wonderful way, because you did the work or you got the help with someone who knows how to solve it, you feel brave and vulnerable to go, do you know what? I achieved this thing. Now, usually, that would be very hard for us because we don't usually celebrate our own stuff. We're always trying to help other people and do all the other things. In fact, sometimes people go, oh, you're just being cocky. You're just being overconfident. You're just bragging. Well, you weren't intentionally wanting to do that. And even if you did say those things, people probably wouldn't even care. But because we have that self-doubt of not being worthy enough, we don't feel worthy or deserving or enough to celebrate. But when you plug yourself in a community who will support you, they will honor your celebration and they will reach out and go, that's amazing. We want more of that. So just consider if you were to feel so connected where you felt so comfortable to go, do you know what? I did this today. I made X amount of money, when you don't feel shame because you're being celebrated, or you were able to get that promotion, or you were able to drive confidently somewhere where you had like a driving fear or whatever it is, right? Or you were able to say, did not reach and have anxiety whatsoever for the last week or two because we did the work. Suddenly, people are there to go, that's amazing. That's the good validation that we want. We don't want to seek validation based on our lack of worth. We want to be able to feel connected to people who know us, who are similar to us, who can lift us up whilst being accountable, whilst teaching us how to overcome those obstacles and those hurdles. You see, if you had that one powerful element, of course you need someone to be able to lead that, to show you that, because you don't want to be, here's the other thing, if you do it in the wrong way, if we're all in a negative place, we become an echo chamber. And that then goes, oh, there's a reason why you don't feel good enough. So you do need that positivity, accountability, that direction from someone as an ideal. Otherwise, you don't want to reaffirm their place. That's not healthy. But if you're moving in the right direction and you're supporting connected, and you're leading to the place where you want to be, being led there because you don't know what you don't know, that element is so important. That's community. That's the unity that we're looking for. That's where we feel seen, heard, and felt. That's where we don't feel broken because other people have just overcame it who are just a little bit ahead of you. And that becomes this ability to transform. I always love, for example, when I do my group coaching calls, because people ask questions that you never knew you had, that once they asked it, gave you that upgrade and that epiphany. When you see people transform, you're like, I'm going to be that next because they're just a little bit ahead of me. When people say you're doing such a great job and we believe in you, suddenly you don't feel lost and alone. So that one element is a huge element. Biologically, emotionally, personal development, in money, in business, in health, in relationships, in career, that just levels us up to be able to go, I'm ready to let this go. Now, there are different levels of community, as I was saying a little bit ago, and that is ultimately from the free to the pay to play, right? I've invested the pay to play model in myself, a significant every single month, because it allows me to be connected with heart-centered entrepreneurs and business people where we can be connected and learn and grow together. That's my pay to play when it comes to my personal development, because I want to be able to help as many people in the world in a heart-based way. That's just what I want. I don't want any scamminess. I want true heart-centered leaders, developers, all that kind of stuff, because that means I can just be absorbing that and I'll hopefully impart some information there. So I'm really into the pay to play because ultimately you get closer to the right people and you get plugged into a community who have invested in themselves to get there. Now, I also know not everyone has the ability to do that. And of course, just know there's just there's just the reality. Most of the time when there's no investment, there's less leadership, there's less accountability, there's less knowledge, and there can be more reaffirming of the same issue. It doesn't mean that they're bad, so I'm not saying that, but you could go to things like the meetups and communities around you right now who have the same desire as you. You just got to make sure that they're healthy, right? Like I said, you need a leader who knows how to overcome it. You will do want some accountability. But accountability can be showing up as well. But you've got those two big levels. You either create something for free or join something for free, and that will hopefully help you there. Even, for example, as I said, there's being broadcasted live on youtube.com/Joseph Clough. Now we have a pre-show, we have an after show, and there's a great level of community there. I get to know you, I get to know where you live, what you're going through, I get to support you. We all kind of do that. So there's that free level there of just kind of, it's more kind of like just typing, which is just, you know, functionality of live streaming. But there is that level of love and lifting each other up. That community is so important to people. And that's why I love doing these live streams, because we show up like maybe twice per week, or I mean, I do it 3 times, but not everyone goes 3 times per week. But you know, there's someone there for you to help you, and not just me, the people in the chat. And that's another level. You've got to think outside the box. You've got to get out of your own way and go, do you know what? Even though I feel lost and alone, even if I feel disconnected, even though I'm a people pleaser, feeling worthy, deserving, or not enough, I'm going to assume responsibility and recognize if I'm going to change, I need to reach out in community. And it can be virtual, it can be in person, there's lots of different levels. But the main thing is finding the right people. You see, going back to my group, in the beginning, we was like the whole, you know, like, oh, let's build a tribe together, right? Like kind of really be connected. And over the years of building my group within my program, people used to, or they still do, but we started calling it a family, right? Because it felt like a family. Where even on my group coaching calls, we all kind of unmute ourselves and we connect and we talk about what we've learned. And that level of heart-based connection of people rooting for you is one of the most incredible experiences that you may have, because you suddenly feel connected with other people just like you, going through the same types of issues, because we only work on the same core issue. That's why we only have a certain amount of people that I want to work with in my customized program. It just causes people to go, I see you, I recognize you because I see it in myself. And therefore you lift each other up. I firmly believe when it comes to relationships, a fundamental should be to lift each other up. Now the problem is when we're not feeling worthy, deserving, or enough, and we do feel lost and alone, and that anxiety and that fear and that dread, all of those things, not only are we not feeling connected with other people because we feel lost and we feel disconnected, but unfortunately we tend to attract people of the same nature, right? Because a like attracts like, but also opposites attracts even, but that can get more of a problem. That's where people who are, say, narcissists will be able to see, let's say you're not feeling worthy and good enough or deserving, a narcissist will be able to see that from a mile away. They'll go, I'm gonna be connected to this person because they'll allow me to be the narcissist. They'll allow me to be in that environment. So be conscious when we feel lost and alone, we may actually be attracting the wrong people because we're putting that energy out there. And especially if we're people pleasers, people will just go, oh, this person, as in you in this case, is going to take care of it. And suddenly now everyone's relying on us, and we feel more like an imposter than ever before. We feel more scarcity because not only are we lost and alone, but other people are taking advantage of that. Or, on that first example, we're surrounding each other with people of the same energy of negativity, worry, and doubt. Have you ever had that experience, by the way? Either experience where maybe a narcissist in nature kind of has taken advantage of you? And it could be like a boss, it could be a partner, it could be a family member, where they just kind of see the chink in your armor and kind of like keep prodding at it and expecting all these things of you, and also to make you feel worse, keeping you in that prison. Or if you've just like attracted the same kind of people, like not to say like low energy, but like people who would live by drama, reasons and excuses, and that just feels sticky, right? It feels like uncomfortable being connected with people who aren't willing, because you have that spark in you who does want to change. And they say, I mean, it's not really true as such, but it's a good little benchmark to consider, that you are the sum of the 5 closest people around you. Or let's just say the closest people around you, if we wanted to go beyond the 5. Now, if we're connected with narcissists, or we're connected with people taking advantage of us, or we're connected with people who have lots of reasons for staying the same, well, we assume that becomes the reflection of who we are. So if we're going to change, we want to be able to tap into a new community who's going to support us. Plug in to someone who can help you and support you to overcome those challenges. Doesn't always mean you got to let go of everyone in your present, because sometimes we don't want to do that. Sometimes we have to put up with some people. But the more you can add in positivity in your life, the more you'll transform, especially if there is beyond that one element of human connection. Like I said, it's not going to solve everything, but it's definitely going to make a shift in the very beginning. The next part of the elements is figuring out how to solve that problem. And usually that is where someone like me would come in, if it were to be the imposter syndrome, because that's what I do for a living. Let go of the limiting beliefs of not being worthy, deserving enough. Plug you into the community, plug you into the processes which will transform everything and tailor it for your needs. That's one level. But let's just say you wanted to get better at sports, and let's say it was a specific sport, well, you'd want to be able to be connected with a trainer who's very good at that sport, a community which will allow you to have accountability, a community who will be able to bring you up and connect you and lift you up. So there's lots of different levels that we can go about, but it starts with you. It starts with you to go, do you know what? I'm not happy feeling lost and alone. I'm not happy not being connected. I'm not happy being connected with some people in my life because they're taking advantage, or we're not letting people in. Because the other thing is, if you don't feel worthy or enough, guess what? Sometimes you purposely, unconsciously self-sabotage that relationship because you don't want to get hurt. You don't want to feel like someone's going to take advantage, so I'm just going to destroy the relationship before I even have a chance of having a good one. There's lots of that self-sabotaging experience. So make sure that you start to implement a community. Find someone who can connect you with people just like you, who can then lead you to where you want to be. There's lots of options out there, depending on what your needs are, what your symptoms are, what your core issue is. And that means you get to transform and change in every single way. Now, of course, if you ever need a specific problem solving, like feeling like an imposter, like not feeling you know enough, or you're not capable, good enough, worthy, deserving, the imposter syndrome, the fear of being a fraud, the anxiety, the feeling like you are enclosed in a self-imposed prison based on the past experiences, if you want to be liberated from that, wake up every single day in an abundant way, in a way that allows you to serve those in your life in a profound way, to be able to be in purpose and on purpose. If you're ready to make that big leap, you can apply to be plugged into my community. Ultimately, you go ahead to josephclough.info/talk, and when you go there, you book a call to speak with us. It'll be a one-to-one call. You fill out an application so we understand where you are, and then when you show up on that one-to-one call, we'll go ahead and get clear on exactly what you want to let go of. We'll get clear on exactly where you want to be, the dream, the heaven. We'll figure out what's getting in the way and come up with a plan to make it a reality if you're a good fit. Now, of course, it is not free. There is an investment because it is so built for your needs. It is a pay to play, but it's a pay for freedom. It's the ability to be able to invest in yourself because you are transforming the very fiber of your being. You're allowing yourself to recognize you are worthy and deserving enough by doing so. you're able to be able to feel ready to achieve those goals. And it could be in abundance, it could be in career, it could be a practitioner of change, it could be absolutely relationships, it could be health. It affects everything. So after all, when we let go of that, to me, that is a life-changing experience in every single way. So once again, that is josephclough.info/talk. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. And of course, if you're getting value from this audio, this video, and so on, you can go ahead and rate and review my app at josephclough.info/review. josephclough.info/review, and therefore we can support and help more people. Sometimes all we need is one person to hopefully instigate a change. I want to be a part of that, but you have to, not you have to, but like when you leave a review, people see that. People usually only leave bad reviews on things, right? Thankfully not on my app as much, but in general, because we feel agitated by a server, so it's quick to do that, we rarely kind of leave good reviews. But if you feel like you've got value from my app or any of my 791 free episodes, then I'd love you to be able to do that. It's josephclough.info/review. And with that, my friend, I wish you the very best in getting into a community, finding that time to feel seen, heard, and felt, and be led over the obstacles and the challenges so you can live the life that I believe you desire, but also deserve. And with that, I'll speak to you on a future episode. Many thanks and goodbye.